So when we're talking about stomach volumes, normally on average, a human stomach can hold about 1 liter of food before the nausea reflex kicks in. And then with competitive eaters, those people can hold around 4 liters of food in their stomachs. And this is because they've trained their body to be leptin resistant and to suppress that nausea reflex. So I think there was a study done with the University of Pennsylvania, and it had some pretty grim predictions of life after competitive eating, which they called potentially self-destructive form of behavior. And they said that competitive eaters had lost the ability to feel full, and they could easily become obese. And then there was another possible issue in that an eater could stretch their stomach so much that it could no longer contract and thus become unable to pass food. And this condition is called gastroparesis, causing nausea and vomiting.
Action.
All right, in order to understand the mechanics, we are looking at an investigation that was created to assess the stomachs of a world-class speed eater and that of a control subject during a speed eating test. Moreover, gastrointestinal fluoroscopy was used to determine how the speed eaters were able to eat so much and so fast. The speed eater began consuming hot dogs 2 at a minute to facilitate rapid ingestion. He downed each pair of hot dogs without any noticeable let-up during the test. As he ate the hot dogs, intermittent fluoroscopy revealed progressive accumulation of an ever-increasing volume of hot dog pieces outlined by the residual barium in the stomach. There was little, if any, gastric peristalsis with increasing gastric distension. Fluoroscopy also revealed intermittent accumulation of hot dog pieces in the distal esophagus, as their progress into the stomach was impeded by food in the fundus. At 6 minutes, the stomachs had become a dilated, flaccid sac in the upper abdomen. At 10 minutes, the speed eater had eaten a total of 36 hot dogs. His stomach now appeared as a massively distended, food-filled sac occupying most of the upper abdomen with little to no gastric peristalsis and emptying of a small amount of barium into the duodenum.
All right, so now we'll take a look at the calories involved with competitive eating and specifically Nathan's hot dog eating contest. The recommended daily caloric intake for the average man is around 2,000 to 2,500 calories, but it'll vary based on one's weight and body type. A Nathan's hot dog is 170 calories, and a typical bun has about 300 calories. The record in Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest is 76 hot dogs by Joey Chestnut in 10 minutes. 76 hot dogs and buns equates to 35,720 calories. Again, that's all in 10 minutes. In terms of weight gain and processing, the small intestine recognizes when it doesn't need nutrients, and in the case of big competitive eaters, most of the food exits the small intestine without even being absorbed. The aftermath of eating so many calories varies from person to person, but side effects often include nausea, painful gas, vomiting, heartburn, and diarrhea. There are also always EMTs on site at any eating competition in case there are larger problems such as choking, esophageal inflammation, or stomach rupture. With the training that competitive eaters go through, their bodies are much more prepared to accept this amount of calories than a normal person is, but the health and safety risks are still there and are still reviewed with every competitor before competition begins.
Professional eaters train by chewing and lifting weights. They want to build up their jaw and neck muscles so they can push food down their esophagus. Some train their jaw by chewing large amounts of gum simultaneously. Professional eaters train their stomachs by eating and drinking large amounts weeks before the contest. They do this to stretch out their stomachs so they can hold 2 to 4 times more food than the average person. Most of the food they eat to prepare is very low calorie, which allows them to eat much more, as well as stay relatively fit for how many calories they eat in the competition. Prior to the contest, most professional eaters will starve themselves so they can have the maximum amount of space available in their stomach. They train their esophagus so they're able to relax it, therefore making it wider. By relaxing their lower esophageal sphincter and allowing food to slide down the throat rather than using peristalsis keeps the throat muscles from fatiguing, which can make swallowing more difficult.
Go!
There's many different techniques one would use to not only put down that much food in such a short amount of time, but also most efficiently. There's the divide and conquer method, where you separate the meat in the bun and handle one component at a time. Next, this is what experts like to call the Solomon technique, where you take the weenie and you break it in half and you combine the divide and conquer method. Now, this one here is for the seasoned pros only, where you combine the Solomon technique and the divide and conquer technique, but with 2 weenies and 2 buns. The downside here is that this methodology can increase your likelihood to choke and die. I'd like to take a moment to commemorate Madeline Nikwan, who sadly passed away after participating in a hot dog eating competition at an off-campus fundraiser in October of 2021. This is why you should decide to do the slam dunk method, where you keep a glass of water nearby and you dip the dog in the water so it slides down the esophagus with greater ease, with the price of losing the sweet, scrumptious taste of the weenie. But hey, I guess that's just the price of greatness.
I'm gonna pan. Alright, fine. Alright, who's pressing start?
I'll press start.
Should
Dude, wait, who's gonna press record? Oh, you started.
do it already.
Alright. 3, 2, 1, go.
That's time. This is mine. Joe. Oh, he's got one in his hand. Matt. Oh, he's got 2.
That's great.
Nate.
Let's go!